Since we're using Voyager for most of the queries in this unit, it's worthwhile to spend a few minutes introducing you to it. We'll start with a simple illustration of the challenges of graph navigation and how they led us to create Voyager. Querying a graph is fundamentally different than querying tables in a relational database. Let's imagine a social network scenario where we want to introduce potential friends based on shared interests and travel patterns. In this case, we're beginning with a known starting point, which is the object named Marco, but it could just as easily be carried out by evaluating all objects. Using graph navigation techniques, we can see that Marco has a fairly strong interest in fitness. As you may remember from earlier units, the reason likes is in quotes is that it's a named, rather than class-based connection. Also, the intensity search filter that we're applying will evaluate a property on the connection itself. Since our goal is to make introductions based on shared interests and travel experiences, we're examining where Marco has traveled. One place he's visited on business, which based on its bracketed display is a class-based connection, is Istanbul. Of course, in a real-world scenario, we would be evaluating all of his travel connections, not just this one. Concurrently, our search is looking for other people who've traveled to Istanbul on business. Jade is one example, but there could be many more. Note that we could also be filtering our results based on when the trip occurred, how long it took, and an enormous number of other criteria. As it turns out, Jade happens to like fitness as well. The results of our search indicate that Marco and Jade each have similar travel and interest histories, making them good candidates for a friendship recommendation. These examples of open-ended, exploratory queries are incredibly difficult to express in standard SQL. For that matter, they're also hard to code in any of the cryptic graph navigation languages that have characterized the first generation of these systems. As you'll see in a moment, FlexVertex designed Voyager to make these types of queries much easier to write.